What's up, everybody? It is Joe here. It is Monday. It is March the 30th. It is day 6 of the COVID campaign for financial awareness. And today I am going to be talking about government benefits. And the reason I've waited so long, not long, but a week to discuss them is that they're sort of releasing things piece by piece. It started off very quickly with the speeding up of EI benefits or the getting rid of the wait period for that. And then now it's sort of transitioned into a universal benefit. So I'm going to get into that today. This is an important post because I want everyone to understand what benefits are available to them. And I want them to go and get those benefits so they're not living without during this period. It's a very, very, very difficult time. And I want people to understand that the government has stepped up and put some money in your pocket. So go out and get it. Make sure you take care of those bills, especially if you are out of work right now. So I'm live on IG and I'm recording this. This video is going to be available in about an hour on IGTV and on Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn and everywhere you exist in this world. So if you don't follow me on Facebook, follow me on Facebook. The link is in my Instagram bio. And today is mainly going to be about government benefits. But the first thing I want to jump into, as usual, is a market update. So let's get right into that. We got a mixed bag of worms today. The TSX is down slightly, and the Dow, S&P, and NASDAQ are all up. So what does this tell us? It doesn't tell us too much. The biggest thing about it is that all the priced in benefits of the stimulus packages that have been released are sort of there. New industries are emerging that are profitable, such as in the healthcare field. Amazon is obviously kicking ass right now because everyone's at home ordering things and they don't want to leave their home. So that's a huge part about it. So for me, I would just say we are probably going to go through periods of uncertainty in the market, meaning that a little bit up, a little bit down, a little bit up, a little bit down. Basically, the biggest news of the weekend in terms of the market is that Donald Trump has recalled his previous statement of trying to have America open by Easter. He's now stated that the month of April is going to be a complete write-off. So I figured this was going to happen anyway. I'm hoping that we can get out of here in maybe partway through May. But yes, let's all just understand that the month of April is going to be a complete write-off. We are not going to be able to go anywhere in April. So let's just all understand that and make sure that we know that this is at least another month. And my hope is that we can get out and about in June. But the only way that happens is if we stop the curve and we make sure that we're not actually adding to the numbers by going out in public. The numbers are the numbers right now. Let's not add to them. We don't even know the full extent of it. That's why we have to stay inside. Once we know the full extent of it, we can isolate those that have it and those that don't have it. But the problem is a lot of people don't have it or have it and don't know it, and they're continually spreading the virus. So that's the big news of the day, was the fact that Trump extended the sort of lockdown or social isolation period, social distancing period into the end of April. So we have a whole month. For those of you who are at home, which I hope you are, we pretty much knew this anyway. It just took our orange friend to the south to listen to his doctors and actually understand that that's what's going to happen. So first things first, I want you guys to download the combo expenses worksheet. Tons of people have been downloading that. I'm going to tag that link in here as I do every day because this worksheet is what's going to help you organize your finances during this time. Hundreds of people have downloaded this worksheet. I'm adding them to the email list as we go, and they can actually get more tips and tools and resources from me as this period goes along. So I'm also going to tag this link of the emergency response benefit and how it works and what is actually going to be given by the government. The reason why this was implemented is the fact that EI is not sufficient, or the problem is the qualification for EI is too narrow. So they had to broaden it a bit. And what we have now is what's called the emergency response benefit. $2,000 a month if you're not working, regardless of the income. And that is for anyone. EI was capped off at a certain income. This goes for anyone who's lost their job. So I'm going to get into this in a little bit, but I'm going to start off, first of all, with support for individuals and families. So we're going to be increasing the child tax benefit. Thank you, Trudeau, for implementing that. So as a parent, if you have children, you will be getting an extra $300 per child during this period. And this is going to be seen first in May as your CCB child care benefit, or Canada Child Benefit. So this is the Canada Child Benefit per child, $300 more. Now, that is not a lot, but at the same time, though, that definitely does help ease a bit of the burden. So $300 per child starting in May. So that's a good thing, and I'm glad that that's been instituted to help families during this period. So again, starting in May, child tax benefit. There's no need to apply if you receive the child care benefit or the Canadian Child Benefit. I'm sorry, I keep bumbling the name. I don't have kids, so I don't utilize it. So yes, if you receive the Canadian Child Benefit, you don't have to do anything. It just automatically increases through the month of May. Yeah, so no need to apply or no need to reapply. Check that out. So also, we're going to have our GST payments are going to be increased. So one-time special payment by early May. So it's going to be low and modest income families are going to receive close to $400 for single individuals and $600 for couples. So that is going to be starting in May as well. And so your GST in May will be a little bit larger depending on how much you make. So if you don't make too much, it will be a bit higher. You have extra time to file your income tax returns. So in June 1st is the deadline now. It's usually April 1st. So June 1st, that helps you get more organized, especially if you meet someone to do your taxes and we're in isolation mode. That helps, get you a bit more time to do that. Where that helps as well is business owners who can use this time to actually find more deductions and find more ways to save money. The mortgage support, which I'm going to be getting into tomorrow, exclusively tomorrow, will be all about the deferred mortgage payments. So mortgage support, Canadian banks and lending institutions are actually giving you 6 months of deferred payments during this period of time. Now, this isn't interest-free, is not interest-free, period. But if you're experiencing financial hardship due to the COVID campaign or COVID-19, make sure that you actually check out your bank or lending institution and get that 6 month grace period to defer your mortgage payments. Now, that does get added on the back end. It's not perfect, but what it does do is allow you to focus on taking care of the family at this point. And most families, the largest bill payment they have is their mortgage. So make sure that if you need the support, you're reaching out to your lending institution. The big thing about it, I want people to understand, is that you will be on hold for a long time because there are a lot of people applying for this. So if you do not need this and you are not out of work, do not apply for this. Okay, I'll be going more into this tomorrow, but I want people to understand that this isn't free lunch. Make sure you're applying if you need it, but beyond that, if there's no need for it, don't apply for it, because what you're doing is actually taking up valuable man hours and resources from the people who actually need it. So contact your lending institution. Again, tomorrow I'm going to be talking about that completely. So this is the nitty gritty, and this is the Canadian Emergency Response Benefit, so CERB. So the government of Canada is going to be providing a taxable benefit of $2,000 a month for up to 4 months. So this is for workers who must stop working due to the COVID-19 pandemic, and you don't have access to paid leave or income support. So again, there's a lot of people I know in this boat. Anyone in the service industry, anyone who's a restaurant industry, bartender, anything like that, they will be able to access this. And it's not based on income, so it's just anyone who can outwork. If you're sick, quarantined, or taking care of someone with COVID-19, that applies to you as well. So if you are quarantined because you just came back from vacation and you cannot go to work because of this, then therefore you will qualify. If you have to stay at home to care for your children because the daycare is closed or school is closed and you cannot work because of this, this will pay you as well. workers who still have their employment but are not being paid. So if you haven't been laid off or fired, but there's just no work, and your employer just asks you not to come into work, this applies for you as well. And this also works for wage earners and self-employed people, including contract workers who are not otherwise eligible for EI. So if you have not applied for EI, I would suggest waiting and applying for this. Again, EI pays you about 50% of your income, so this could be more depending on how much you make. The maximum for EI, I believe, would be $900 a week. I'm fairly certain. So in this situation, if you are a low-income worker, this will actually pay you more than EI would. Again, where this is super useful is for my brothers and sisters in the service industry who rely mostly on tips, and EI for them will not be much because their paychecks are so very little. So I'm going to dip into this a little bit more and check out the news release. So the government of Canada, they're taking strong and immediate effective action to protect Canadians and the economy from the impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic. So no Canadian should choose between protecting their health and putting food on the table or paying for medication for a family member during this time, or caring for a family member. So support workers and to support workers and help businesses keep their employees, government has proposed legislation to establish the Canadian or Canada Emergency Response Benefit. This taxable benefit will provide $200 a month for up to 4 months for workers who have lost their income or lose their income as a result of the pandemic. The CERB is a simpler, more accessible combination of the previously announced emergency care benefit and emergency support benefit. So this basically is more inclusive, allows more people to apply for it, and it's all-encompassing as opposed to a less or more restrictive Canadian benefit that they had initially proposed. So if you're sick, you're quarantined, if you've lost your job or been laid off due to the pandemic, if you're working at home to take care of kids and you lost your income because you have to stay at home and watch your kids because they cannot go to school, it applies to wage earners as well as contract workers, self-employed individuals who do not otherwise qualify for EI. So someone as myself, I am still earning an income, so I don't qualify for this. But if I were to lose my income because of the pandemic, then I would be able to apply for this. Workers who are still employed, who have not lost their job, but there's just not work for them to do, can apply for this as well. So it's basically the big reason why this exists now is because the EI system was not designed to handle this amount of volume, and right now the volume is unprecedented. Basically, I think it was something like over 1 million people applied for these benefits over the last couple weeks. So it's a really, really, really huge volume that they cannot do, whereas this is just a universal encompassing benefit. Now, it's a taxable benefit as well, so you got to understand that this is taxed. So this will affect your tax at the end of the year, depending on how much you make. But again, you have to weigh the cost versus the benefits in that. So basically, what I want people to understand is this can be available over the course of the next week. They said early April. It's going to be paid out until October. So yes, 4 months, $2,000 paid out until October. The EI period is waived, so if you applied for that, you don't need to apply for this. So yes, this is the all-encompassing benefit that everyone's heard about. This is going to be available in the next few days, and as this becomes available, I'm going to be sharing more tips and tools on how to apply for this. How you will be able to apply for this is there's going to be a secure online portal or web portal starting in early April, which is coming up, and you can do that, or you can go to the automated telephone line or call the toll-free number, which I'm sure will be busy as hell. So you got to make sure that you have nothing to do. Put yourself on speakerphone, knit a scarf, whatever you got to do. I would suggest using the online portal, but more than likely that online portal will be busy as hell as well. And my guess is that it will probably crash due to the busyness of it. So be prepared for that. Understand that this is going to actually help you out, but it could be a tedious and annoying process to get it. Let's just be honest. Free money is never easy to get. Just like people expecting to defer their mortgage payments have been waiting on hold forever, even phone lines have crashed. So I want people to understand that. One of the last things I want people to take a look at as well is students. So effective March 30th, they're placing a 6-month interest-free moratorium on the repayment of Canada student loans for all student loan borrowers. No payment will be required, and the interest will not accrue during this time. So it's a 6-month, unlike the mortgage deferment process. This 6-month deferment process is interest-free, and you do not have to pay for 6 months. So this is going to go until October 30th. You do not have to pay, and it's interest-free. So it's kicking the can down the road, but it's deferred interest-free payments. So this is a little bit different than the mortgage one. No interest accruing at this time. So for students, anyone who just came out of work, and oftentimes when they come out of work, they're the ones directly affected by this work shortage that we're going through right now. So you do not have to pay your student loan for the next 6 months. If you can, I would suggest you do. If you do not have an emergency fund, maybe use that payment to actually build a bit of an emergency fund to help you through this period. If you are still working, if you are not working, I would suggest apply for, or you don't even have to apply for it actually. You have nothing to do. You just don't have to make your payment. So you don't need to apply. Just don't make your payment. If you can make your payment and your job is secure, make your payment. If you have no emergency fund, in my opinion, take this 6-month interest-free period and build up an emergency fund so you can actually weather this kind of storm the next time this will happen, because it will. If you are not working, though, do not make your payment. Make sure you're taking care of your 4 walls, and I'm happy that the government of Canada instituted this program to help students get through this period, because it can be a difficult one, and oftentimes they're on the front lines of people who cannot work right now, and that's a huge issue. So students, take advantage of this program. Again, if you are working and your job's secure, you can use this to build up an emergency fund, or just continue on with your payments, because remember, this money is going to be owed eventually. Sometimes you have to weigh the negatives. The negative of not having an emergency fund is greater than the actual owing for 6 more months afterwards. And again, building up that emergency fund is a huge thing. Thank you, Shantae. No problem. I appreciate your comment on IG Live. So yeah, the student loan thing. Again, if you're not working, take advantage of this. Just stop making your payment or put a pause on your payment. If you're doing the automatic payments, stop the automatic payments. Focus on your 4 walls. If you are working and your job is secure, keep making your payments, unless, in my opinion, if you don't have an emergency fund, use the 6 months to build up the emergency fund, because in my opinion, that's a greater need than paying off the student loan. But know that your student loan will need to be paid eventually. So build up a bit of reserve funds. If you already have an emergency fund, then just keep making your payments if you can. Okay, so I'm glad the government stepped in and did that. So lastly, I want you to take a look at contact information for me. So you can find me on Facebook at Joe Budget Boss. That's where the most information will be held, because it's a more dynamic platform, unlike Instagram, where I cannot share hot links on there. Where as well, Instagram as well, you can follow me on Facebook. It's the link in my bio, and that's where all the resources will be shared. Twitter as well, which I'll be sharing tips and tools. And the good thing about Twitter is we have links. The bad thing about Twitter is it's poison. You can also find me on YouTube, and all the videos will be placed on YouTube, and I'll be resharing them throughout the month and whatnot. And you can find me actually on the website, budgetboss.ca, and you can add your email into the email link and join my email list, and I'll be sharing tips and tools and updates all month. And you can actually scroll down and book an appointment over the phone, because we're not meeting in person, or we can do a virtual appointment. That works well, and we can discuss your investments, discuss everything. Once again, download the combo expenses worksheet. It'll help you get organized. I'm going to share the links for these government benefits in the description here. So make sure that if you do need to apply for these, apply for them. It's going to be something that actually can help you weather this storm during this period. And I'll end this right now by one more market update. So we saw some negative early on in the American markets, the Dow, the S&P, and the NASDAQ. TSX has dipped a little further. One thing's for sure, it's not a time to get out of the market. It's a time to actually get into the market. But one thing I will tell you is be prepared for choppy markets. pretty much all the way until this is over. And I would warn you, prepare for choppy markets all the way up until the American election. That is in November. So if you are willing to wait in about a year, maybe even two, to see your money grow, then I would suggest entering the markets. If you are impatient and cannot handle volatility, then do not get into the markets. I would suggest investing in mutual funds because they help you diversify your portfolio. I subscribe to the Dave Ramsey theory of four areas: income and growth, aggressive growth, international growth, and emerging market growth, right? So I would suggest doing that. But if you have questions about that, shoot me a message, shoot me an email, joe@budgetboss.ca. And last but not least, I want to say, everyone, we are in essentially week 2 of quarantine mode. I think people are starting to see the seriousness of this situation right now, which is good. I went for a drive yesterday, however, out to the beach, and I was actually going to go for a walk alone on the beach. It was about a 45-minute drive, had the top open. It was a nice day, finally. And I saw far too many people out and about, but I guess people were just going a little stir crazy. So still keep practicing that social distancing. My biggest thing about it is that I'm coming from a selfish angle here where I want to get my summer back. I want to actually enjoy my summer, and I'm getting sick of this isolation. So I know we have to bite the bullet, stay home, take care of ourselves during this period, because then if we actually allow this to keep spreading, we're going to have major issues for the whole summer. And in fact, we could actually be in a period where this could take up our whole it's going to take up our whole April, but it could take up our whole May and into parts of June and July if we are not smart about it. We're seeing that the social distancing and the isolation is working. So if you don't have to leave, stay home. If you actually need supplies, anything like that, I had a client of mine who does not drive. I picked her up some groceries. I made sure I was well sanitized during that period, and got her some groceries so she doesn't have to actually leave her home or take a cab or anything like that. I'm fully stocked. I'm ready to roll. And I call it proper selfishness, where I want my life to be better, but I therefore know that we need to take care of each other to make that better. And how we take care of each other is actually following the guidelines, staying home if we can, and making sure we take care of those around us. Because the big thing about it is that we all need to actually be able to jumpstart this economy again, be able to get rolling again. And we only do that by if we curb this illness. And I know for a fact that once this is shut down and we're ready to go and we're back at it and we can go back in public again, people are going to be dying to get out. They're going to be enjoying the restaurants. They're going to be enjoying the vacations that they hopefully can take. They're going to be going out to their parks and their cafes and their patios and their gyms because they've been having to work out at home, the hair salons, everything, the nail salons, honestly. So in those situations, I know this will happen again. It's just we can't do it now because we have to stop this curve of the virus. So let's just follow this so we can get our summer in. At least it's right now, but I don't want to see 35-degree weather outside and have to look out the window for that. I want to be able to enjoy my summer and go out in public. So let's just follow the rules. Let's do it. It's going to be painful for now, but you know what? I'm loving how the sense of the community, people are coming together and actually working hard at it and showing ways to beat the isolation. So that's the government benefits post. I'm going to be talking more about the government benefits and what's coming up over the course of the week. And the reason why is because this week specifically, the government benefits in Canada are actually going to be starting to form and released. So check it out over the course of the week. Have yourself a great day.